Hello everybody, and welcome to my final video of 2016. Boy, what a year it's been for both me and everybody around me. And for all of you, I'm sure. Well, it was just too crazy a year for me to not make a final video, and since I will be going on vacation and celebrating the new year, jumping up and down, sweating my balls off, yelling at the top of my lungs, and probably breaking my neck in the process because I am a huge raver. But you know, that's a different thing, and it has nothing to do with this video, and I probably shouldn't have brought it up. But you know what? I did it, and I threw it out there, and good job, me! That's me patting myself on the back. A little pat. Sorry, I just got off work, and I'm very happy tonight. So you can probably tell that by on to the next thing! So, anyways... You gotta excuse me for a second. I don't know why I'm gonna upload this with all this shit in here. Maybe because I'm just kind of like that, man. You fuck it. Anyway. So. Oh god, that reminded me of something funny. But save it for later. I'll just save it for later. So yeah, this video doesn't really have a huge point to it. There are some points that I'm gonna make, obviously. What I'm going to be doing here is actually reading off some statistics from this year for my channel, and reading off kind of, you know, what I've done in this last year. And then after this, I'm going to make a playlist just like I did last year. You'll recall last year, after my last Christmas story and my last story of the year therein, and my last story of the year therein, sorry, I can't talk tonight, that I made a playlist called my favorite personal favorite uploads of 2015. And that was my favorite stories that I felt that I had uploaded in 2015, starting from, like, I don't know if I put it in an order or not, but I do plan on doing that for 2016, because the stories that I did this year, guys, oh my gosh, they're some of the most memorable stories to me, and they were so early in my channel's history. And, you know, I feel like some of them are just some of my best works that I have ever produced. And there's some of them I don't think I can ever replicate because of the amount of detail that I put into them. Some of them I amaze myself, and like sitting there thinking, I sat here for hours doing this? Like, oh my god. Like, I sat there for literally 5 hours on Picture This. I got up at 3 a.m. to record that story. And Jeff the Killer, holy shit. That took me literally 6 hours to edit. That's my longest video ever, you can tell. So it took me the longest time. The longest time I've ever had to spend doing something like that has honestly been that long. About 6 hours. And when I was like just getting into it, I think I'd sit there for maybe 10 minutes and, you know, do a few things. And then as I like developed more of a passion for doing it and more of a performance, I found myself critiquing every little thing that I did wrong. Like, whenever my mouth makes noises, sometimes whenever I've got my mouth open, I'm like trying to make it silent. That aggravates the hell out of me. I will sit there for literally the entire span of the recording, taking out every little mistake. Now, you'll notice I don't take out my mistakes in these types of videos, like that right there. See, perfect example, everybody. And that's because these videos are real. I don't need to edit myself in real life. People stumble over their words. You know I stumble over my words in my narrations. I just don't leave it in there for you because I personally don't like to do that. So that's more of a personal preference, and people have told me they enjoy it. And you know, that's something that I took from my inspiration, Mr. CreepyPasta. Great narrator. Tons of props. But I feel like whenever I started noticing his mistakes, it just started aggravating me. Cause like if I see that in my recording, I'll sit there and be listening, and literally the second that I hear a mistake, I just snap open and I pause the video instantly, and I go second by second on my recordings, guys. I go second by second. Sometimes I even go by the millisecond just so I can make sure I get the mistake out of there. And sometimes it's still kind of noticeable, but sometimes it's the best I can do. There are some times whenever I kind of stumble a little bit, but I recover, and then I've continued the next sentence, so then I'm like, well, I mean, I can't really start all over. I've already recorded for about a good 20, 30 minutes, so no point in doing that now. Or even like 15 minutes. Like, after I get past like 9, 10 minutes, and I'm in a flow of narrating, I'm just like, fuck it. Now, if something interrupts me in the background, then that's something I have to stop, because background noise is something that I am very, very, very anal about. It is something that I literally get up at the fucking weirdest times and just record these random ass videos. And if people could hear what I do with my nights and my mornings, they would look at me and they would say, "Are you a fucking madman?" And I would look at them and I would say, "Yes. Yes, I am. I am the one who uploaded a creepy story at 2:30 in the morning just because. Couldn't sleep, didn't want to do anything. My room, well, not my room, my office is on the other side of the house, away from everybody sleeping. Very, very, very well soundproof. Nobody has ever told me that I've bothered them during my narration, so I'm like, why the hell not, you know? I've got work to do, so why not? And that was the jolly good gift. And, you know, I did that at I recorded that literally 20 minutes before I uploaded it. So, yeah, I was recording it at that time, too. And even right now, 10:25, I'm recording this at 10:25 right now. Like, you guys know, I'm a late night and early morning person. That's kind of like the time I like to get stuff done. And I do my editing during the day, usually. Now, sometimes I have to do my editing at night, and I reserve those nights especially for that, and then I try to get it up before midnight. But, you know, I can't always do that with my work. Now, I did just get off work, and I did just get my new promotion, and I was ecstatic, so that's why I'm so happy right now. I just got out of my brand new position, and I was very happy being over there. It was really cool. But enough about that. That's not why you came here, so I'm going to stop talking about it. Anyways. So, we've got a few things that I wanted to go over. So first of all, I wanted to go over some of the year's biggest highlights. And what I mean by that is different things, obviously. First of all, obviously, the biggest highlight is my unbelievable subscriber boom in this year alone. And I really shouldn't even say this year. I should say the last 3 months. In the last three and a half, we'll go ahead and say 4. In the last 4 months, I have just skyrocketed. Now I'm gonna just go back real quick because I'm gonna make sure that I'm right on this, because I've got a timestamp for my subscriber videos. So let's just go back, and I'm gonna go ahead and read off just kind of how fast this has really grown. Oh, I just got like 4 more subscribers that I didn't know. Or, no, 5 more people that I didn't know about. Thank you, everybody. All right, so we're gonna go through these real quick, and we're just gonna see just kind of how fast this really did go down. Okay, well, that's not the right thing. Hold on, This is stupid. I know this is stupid that I'm doing this. You're like, hey, I didn't come here to listen to you. Just sit there and scroll through your phone. Well, you obviously came here to listen to me, so shut the fuck up. I'm getting really dirty in this one. I don't really care. Screw YouTube. What? I didn't say that. Don't. Censorship gun. Don't. Okay. So, we're gonna go back to my 100 subscriber update, which is timestamped 1 year ago. It happened during my Christmas series. And that's where I revealed the unveiling of the Creepypasta Nation. as well. So fast forward to... Okay, fast forward to about 6 months later. So about half a year later, so about 6 months ago right now, and I announced my 200 subscriber special that was upcoming. It was only upcoming at the time. And when I finally released my 200 subscriber special, it was indeed 5 months. Yep, I was right. I was one off, actually. 5 months ago. And that was when I did the Origin of Fear itself subscriber special. And then 3 months ago, which was 2 months later, I did my 300 subscriber video. And something that I thought was funny was that in the span of getting my 200 and 300, I had only uploaded 3 videos. Voices in the Spirit Box, which was with Lucky Me 13, Kagome Kagome, and then Roadwork, which was my #1 video for quite some time. And then I did one other one, actually, and that was with my subscriber special. So, yeah, I did the 3 videos, and then Fear Itself Horror... Forget that you heard that. Fear Itself's Horror Reboot 4. And I uploaded that with the special. And another one that I did was A Favor for a Favor. And in the span of that, so 3 months ago I hit 300. And then 2 months ago I hit 400. And then 2 months ago I also hit 450. And then 1 month ago I did my update for my 500 special. And then I did my 100 special a month ago. And then I uploaded the She Beneath the Tree, Not Our First Mistake. And then another, just a few days later, I think, I was at 650. And then I did my own story, and then I started the Christmas series. Now, when I started the Christmas series, I got my Behind the Mask subscriber special, which was 4 weeks ago. And that was for my 1,000. So in the span of a few weeks, I jumped from 400 to 1,000. And then it just kept going up from there, because the next one that I made, which was 1 week ago, was my 1,600. So in the span of a week, I got 600 people. And as of right now, as I make this video, I have 1,763. And that, you guys, that's just insane. That is a huge spike in such a short amount of time that I'm just mind blown by it. So I wanted to go through and kind of highlight which videos I think were my personal favorites. And then you can decide for yourselves when I upload my playlist if you like it or if you disagree. And you can tell me in the comments below. Or you can just message me like any normal person. Who am I kidding? None of us are normal on here. So I want to start with... Hold on. I got a better way to do this. Okay. So I'm going to start with the first videos that I uploaded this year. And I know exactly which ones they are, because it was one that I loved doing, and it was one that I was so happy to finally get up, and I feel like it was a rebirth for my channel. And something I'm going to start doing, I changed my background after the year turned last year, and I kept it throughout this whole year. It's the one that you see with the gray figure that's on the screen right now, in fact. And I feel like, I thought, maybe I can do this, yearly, to where I can have, a new background every year with, a new text on it and make it look, a little different every year, because that's not hard for me to do, and it's something nice for y'all. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And the first videos I did this year were the Pen Pal series. Amazing, amazing series of stories. I think that it is the second best series creepypasta. Yes, I said second. I enjoy the story, adore it, in fact. It is my favorite true story, and it's probably one of my favorite books, but there is a series creepypasta that I think is just 10 times more freaky as fuck. And that, my little kitties, is what we will be delving into when I get back from vacation on the 2nd. So, what could this series be? Well, if you have followed me on anything, then you already know the answer to that, because I've already told you the answer to that. But for those of you who don't actually listen to the descriptions of videos, and for those of you who don't actually go over to a Twitter handle and see what I'm announcing before asking me questions on YouTube, here's the second repeated announcement. Sorry, it's weird. I'm a little pissy about that. That people, it doesn't aggravate me. It's a little annoying whenever people ask me questions on YouTube that I've answered on my Twitter 2 seconds ago. And they don't listen when I tell them in these numerous videos, follow me on social media to see what I'm doing. Because I update it every single time. I try to update that thing more than my own Twitter. And so, I'm like, okay, just go over here and just follow the goddamn page, and then you won't have those questions next time. But, that's just kind of another rant, a little mini rant. Anyways, I love the Pen Pal series so much. Those were the first videos I did this year, and they're very good personal favorites. I recommend all of them. And then the next one, and this one's one that I'm actually about to reboot myself after the year turns. And it's after the series starts, of course. But it's called Secret Bar. And, I think I can do a lot better than I did on that one. I didn't like it. I didn't like how I portrayed it, and I want to redo it. I think it deserves a reboot. Jeff the Killer, oh man. Old Jeff was the one that started the whole channel for me. He's the one that got your beloved narrator into Creepypasta. I would recommend that video in a heartbeat. I think that's one of my best performances. I put as much heart as I possibly could into that narration. I really did. It meant a lot to me. Regardless of what anybody says, that video means a lot to me. And it's the rebooted story, which means it's actually listenable and not laughable like the other one. Flower Eyes and Needle Teeth. Now that's another one from Hopefully Good Grammar. Isaac Boys and Yao. That's the one that wrote 'Twas the Midnight Before Christmas. And oh man, I did not know at the time that that's whose story that was actually. So I actually found something out through that, and that one didn't even this was right before I had gone on vacation. I know, because I uploaded these 3 stories the same day. Actually, these 4 stories the same day. And it was Flower Eyes and Needle Teeth, Welcome to Sandalwood the first time. Tulpa, which I had actually originally done on the Creepypasta Legion, and since it was deleted, well, you all know the story behind that. So I did that one again, and then I did Annie96's Typing, and that is the first and only collaboration I ever did with Lovely Ghostwriter. He Comes was next, and that one garnered a lot of attention, including a copyright claim from Sony. But we all know how that turned out now, don't we, you corporate bastards? I beat you at your own damn game. Yeah, I'm still mad about that. That was a respectable company. Who the fuck am I kidding? Have y'all seen Leafy's video? They're making the Emoji Movie. Fuck Sony. Don't lawsuit me, Sony, but seriously. Fucking emojis? What? There's gotta be... I mean, maybe if they just... Fucking nothing. There's not a damn thing in the world that'll make that interesting. So anyway... God, I can't believe that. It's actually a thing, guys. I'm not fucking kidding with you. I'm not fucking playing around. It's a real fucking thing. And then I did The Devil's Jaws. I really liked that one as well. That was a personal favorite. I then did my 2-year anniversary update. And then the Puppet Masters Regime, Shadows of Samuel Craven, and Thumps with My Sweet Angel. And I really liked all three of those, actually. Um, I did, my 2-year anniversary special was my next favorite video. And, hold on, I just kind of fucked up my phone now. No. Okay, so that was telling my story. You'll recall if you watched it that, and it didn't look like many people did, but that story, in case any of you want to know where my story plays in, not just my channel story, which was the previous one, but my story personally, then I would suggest you go watch that video because it explains a lot more about me and ties into what I talk about in a lot of these videos. So it's something that you might want to check out. And then my 200 subscriber video was the origin of my channel, which is also very interesting. And that one was like 15 minutes longer. That one was a long one. But that one's, I really liked that. But for my 2-year anniversary special, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories all at once, one after the other, and they all got a decent amount of attention, some more than others. But really, I can say that not all of them were my favorite for the year. I definitely liked rebooting Ezekiel, and I loved doing the Hangman. That was one of my favorites. I really liked how that one turned out. I loved rebooting The Diary of Mr. Welldone and 11 Miles. Skipper's Bin, that one was one that I was like iffy, so I'm not going to include that one. And then I did a collab with the Indescribable. Sorry, I was trying to think of his new name because he's a narrator that I work with, and he did the Nice Guy with me. T.J. England. That's right, T.J. England. At that point, I opened up the Creepypasta Nation and did my very first rant that was about Jinx and copyright stuff, and boy, was that a long video. That was a 46-minute rant. My next favorite one that I did was definitely Come Follow Me. Honestly, the way that Come Follow Me turned out, I thought that was one of my best. Like, I really loved how it turned out. And, the visual I put up on screen, I had to Photoshop, and I did it myself. And I felt really proud of how it turned out in the end and how it looked and how it sounded. Then, for the very first story of the Creepypasta Nation, I did The Proposition, which is the only story which I've ever had backlash from an author because I didn't email him because I didn't know he wrote it, because he had 2 different names. But that's all resolved in water under the bridge, and I have emailed every author since then if I can ever contact them. With just about every author that I've contacted that has a big story on my channel, I've contacted them by now and have gotten permission. So that's all resolved. A lot of people really liked The Tale of Robert Elm, and to be honest, I thought that was a weird story. And I didn't really enjoy it as much as I usually do. It unnerved me. That story was very unnerving. That's all I'll say on that. The Proposition is obviously one of my favorite stories of its kind, rivaled only by one that we will get to later. So, we'll move on to the next one I did that this was, I think, the turning point for my channel, to be completely honest with you, was Invoking Ganesh. That is one of my favorite stories ever. I love it. I listen to it every year. I listen to it all the time just for entertainment. I listen to other people's narrations of it. I read the story myself. It's so entertaining and interesting to me. And that was followed up by what can only be described as my favorite Vincent Vinicava story. Well, no, not my favorite. My second favorite. Picture this. The historic and very, 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 very disturbing story And I think that that story marked a turn for my channel, along with Invoking Ganesh, because I did them, I think, just a few days or a day apart. And I just enjoyed those two performances that I did for those two stories. Picture this, I enjoyed so much. I had been looking forward to narrating it for so long. I had ordered the book, and the day it arrived, I just lit up, and I was so excited, and I was like a giddy child. And I was like that for Invoking Ganesh too. Whenever Joshua sent me the message saying that he would send me the story, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then Joshua put me up on his Twitter and promoted my reading of it. And I was that was the first time that an author had ever actually told me I did good, and that made me feel really good about myself. And then it moved on to a few stories. One of them, Grad Night at the Haunted Mansion. And I really liked that one, like how I laid it out. But the one that I did next was one that I think people actually might have thought I was insane because of. I've been told this by multiple people that they think after listening to this performance that I literally lost my mind, but I tell them that I did that years ago. And that was Stop. That was one of my favorites. And it was kind of an on the fly decision for me to make, really. I didn't really put a lot of thought before I did it. I did it on the fly. I think, I don't remember. I had just done Grad Night at the Haunted Mansion, and I was looking for a new story, and I don't remember. It was impulse. I just kind of remembered it. And then I went into it blind. I had not read the story myself yet. I had heard it, but I had not read it. And I went into it blind, and it just kind of flowed. I don't know why. It just kind of flowed. Maybe insanity is just easy for me to do. So then I had my 200 subscriber special. And that was the origin of my channel, which was it was a pretty long video, about 33 minutes. And that kind of explained just kind of me. And then I did, obviously, Voices in the Spirit Box and Roadwork, which were both really, really cool stories. I really enjoyed doing those. Which led into my 300 video. And at that point, I was like, oh my gosh, there's something going on here. I'm getting attention out the ass. Like, this is crazy. And so for that, celebrating all that success, I uploaded my favorite Vincent Vinicava story. One of my performances that I think is literally my best. And one of my narrators that works with me on the Creepypasta Nation, Sid, he actually told me that he thought that was my best performance ever. And I might have to agree with him on that. I think that's probably one of my best. There's only one that I'd say really rivals that, and that will come very soon. And it's only because it's more recent, and I took inspiration from the way that I conducted the first time with A Favor for a Favor, which is my very favorite story from Vincent Vinicava, the master himself. So then I did Clear Blue Spring, which was his brand new story at the time. And people really liked that one too. And you know, I really liked the ending of it, and I liked the story, but I had just done A Favor for a Favor, so it wasn't exactly that. The next one that I can say I thought was really interesting was A Dark Stretch of Road. And that one was Barnabas Diemos, and I had messaged him already asking if he would, and he actually liked the video, and it's on his channel under his liked. It's the thumbnail, actually, of his liked videos for stories, of his stories, I believe. And I thought that was really cool because, like I said, I'd only really had, like, a few authors. Like, I always email the authors the link, and they tell me that they view it, and I can tell that they do. I know that they do, because a lot of them are very, very good people to work with, and are very, just, so polite. And, you know, it makes me feel special that I get to work with people like that, because those are the people that make the channel what it is. I'm not the one that makes this all. It's all of those great stories, and those masterful storytellers, and all that inspires me to create something out of their work that honors that work. Because I like to perform and make it look like I'm honoring that work. I want to look like I'm honoring the piece of literature that I am performing, because it deserves that honor. Because clearly, if I've chosen it, it's no just like internet horror story. I actually enjoy listening and capturing all the details of those videos and those stories. And so I really do sit down and listen to the longer ones more than I do the short ones, because they offer more than just a quick little cheap scare. They offer an in-depth look into some of life's like craziest moments and craziest concepts. And that's why I like Dead and Spread and Matt Demersky and Vincent Vinicava so much. They delve more into like the dark and disturbing aspects of humanity, and even of non-humanity. And I really like that, because I can get behind that like getting into your head and messing around with what you believe in and stuff. Which leads me in to the next one, which is by Matt Demersky himself, the classic, huge, popular Psychosis story. Aptly named. And that was actually a reboot. It was a redone version of the stories that I had originally done last year, which did not get any views at all. And it was also before I had all my stuff for my new mic and my new stuff. And so I was like, I want to revisit this, but I'll just do it all in one rather than the 5 entries, because I didn't have time to do that, because then I hit 400. And when I hit 400, I wanted to do something very special, something that I had never done before. So I messaged up Lucky Me 13, a narrator who was working with me on the Creepypasta Nation, but had never really done a collaboration with me before. So I messaged her and I said, hey, I've got an idea for what I want to do for my 400 video. Are you in? Are you in? And she said, yeah. And she said, send me the lines. And I said, oh no, that's not what I want. What I was going to ask was if you would do a guest narration, meaning that I send you the story and you narrate it yourself with your own editing or my editing, whatever you want, and then you give it to me and I just throw it out that it's all you. It's a guest narration. I'll even present it like that. And I did. And whenever I put out that video at the very beginning, I slowed down the intro. And I made it to where people would see what it said. And it said, Fear Itself, obviously, on the screen. And then it said, presents a special guest narration by Lucky Me 13 of Down in the Library Basement. And then I wanted people to know that was her. And she uploaded it on her channel as well. And I promoted it. And, I love her performance. I think she did an amazing job. One of the best collaborations that I have ever sought out, and I don't regret a single bit of it. It's quite the popular video too, with about over 1.5 thousand views, and it's only been up for 2 months. So bravo to her. You should all go check her out. She is on my channel in the featured. She's a very, very good narrator and a very good person to work with, and I've had quite the fun with her. And unbeknownst to her, or maybe beknownst to her, she might not know, but I have a very special role for this particular narrator as well. Very, very special. But we'll get into that in February. So, the next thing that got into it was I did By the Edge of the Water. And with that story, that was one of the first creepypasta stories I ever heard. And I liked it. It mesmerized me whenever it was first performed by MCP. Because it was so simple. It was back whenever it was more quiet in the back. And it was like the classic MCP narration. Not like what you get today. It was classic. You'll never get as classic as those stories were to me. Like, they might not have been huge quality, but it set me on edge that they weren't that perfect audio. That, it was a little quieter, but But whenever it got to you, man, it knew how to get to you. And funny thing was that I learned that those videos were made while he was in high school. He was even telling about how he had videos where he was like just getting ready for graduation, and I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy because I'm about to graduate and I've been making videos for a few years and I'm doing all that stuff now." So I thought that was pretty cool. So that led me into the crawl space, another one of my favorites. I did that one, and then it got me to 450. And I know I'm kind of just going through my history, but this is like a brief rundown of this year in review. That's what this video is for. And this led me to my favorite, like, get into your head and challenge your belief type thing stories by Dead and Spread himself, called The Day I Lost My Faith. To those of you who haven't seen it, which 629 of you have. Anyways, to those of you who haven't seen it, that was the only story I did for Halloween. And it was... That's one of the best stories that I think you can have in the way of religion. Other than a favor for a favor, it's one of the best. It's probably the only story I'd say contends with a favor for a favor. And that's not easy for me to say. A favor for a favor was my favorite since I heard it. And then that led me to the showers. And then I did 500, my 500 sub special, By the Light of a Dying Fire. And then She Beneath the Tree, another Dead and Spread one. And that's my number one video with over 20,300 views. It was uploaded a month ago. I still remember the Friday I did it. And it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. And then, you know, that's not even one of my favorite stories. It's not even one of my favorite narrations. And yet it's my number one video. And it's crazy how that works. Now, the next story that I did was more of a favorite to me, and it did garner quite a bit of attention on it. It is my second most popular video, and it's by Matt Demersky, of course, called Not Our First Mistake. And that has a little over 13,000 views, again, a month ago. That got me to 650, and then I got to my I Always Hated the Light story, which is the highest ranking personal story on my channel with over 2.9 thousand, which is crazy. I feel so honored that my story got out to that many people, even if it wasn't that good. And now we're getting into my favorite part, my absolute creme de la creme of the channel. And no other distinction other than the Christmas series could take that. You know that was coming. It's my favorite time of the year. And it's my favorite thing to do on this channel. I started with a trailer that I released where I explained everything that was going on. And then I did my first Christmas story of 2016, The Christmas Tree, which got over 3.3 thousand. And Michael Whitehouse himself, from his YouTube channel Ghastly Tales, messaged me on that video saying that I did a great job and that he was glad I narrated his story. That was the first time that an author had personally messaged me back saying how good I did. And I was just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, you are one of my favorite authors, and you just told me that you are glad I narrated your work, and that's like all I can ask for. It's like the biggest dream come true for a narrator like me, and a huge fan of those authors' works in the real world. And to hear that I honored their work is always nice to hear. And then I uploaded it was definitely the subscriber special that everybody tuned into, I could tell. It is the highest viewed subscriber special on my channel. And I can tell exactly why. Because the thumbnail, obviously, is my face. And people were curious about that, I guess. I offered the look behind the mask at me as a person, not as a narrator, not as a monster, but as a real person with a real face and real teeth and a real mouth and real eyes and real hair, and just real. And that was for 1,000. So then, obviously, going strong into my Christmas series, I did White Christmas, which has over 5.1 thousand 3 weeks ago. And I did the Advent calendar 2 stories later, or a story later. And that one was one of my favorites too, which led me to 1600, where I announced the next story that I'd be doing at the very end, which was, of course, a story about your favorite Christmas devil, the Krampus. It was a short story, shorter than the ones that I uploaded last year, but you know, it's Krampus, and you can't complain about Krampus. And then I did Up on the Housetop, and that one was a creepy one for me to do. I thought that one unnerved me when I heard it at night. And then my next favorite is the last story of this year. 'Twas the midnight before Christmas. And I did get emailed back by that author as well. He even said that if he gets his project Flay, which is, I'm assuming, another story that he is working on, up off the ground, that he might have a part for me in that story. And I was very ecstatic for that. That was probably the best Christmas gift I could ever ask for right there. And I was just so happy. I was like, oh my god, yes, email me anytime. I am ready for that. Like, that's something that is such an honor to be offered. And now that we've gotten the video part out of the way, because I've gone through literally every video I did this year and given you like brief rundowns of everything and like what I felt on them. But now I just want to get into a little bit of the analytics, just to kind of show you just how far this has really gone. So this won't take me long. This won't take me near as long as the other thing. The first thing I want to address is my watch time. So, you all know what watch time in minutes is. It's obviously how many minutes you've been watched. And so, for the year, I have 1,205,802 minutes. I hit a statistic over 1 million. I don't care what it's for. I did it. And that is unbelievable. That is a milestone that I will always remember. And that's why this video is here. So that I can always remember. Views, I got 89,143. And the next one that I wanted to do was my subscribers. Now this is really crazy, because I've already shown you just like the time period in which I got all these. But this year in total, now keep in mind that last year was like my second year on YouTube. So this year will be my third. And this year alone, I got 1,628 new people. And I wish that I could thank every single one of you personally. I really do. Because that is something that is insane. And I'm looking at this big old spike graph, and it just goes all the way, like there was a little bit in August or September, and then you go into November and then December, and it just shoots all the way up to almost 120 something. And I'm like, wow, that's insane. It was really something to make me think. It made me really, really, really proud. Now, I think I'm done with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that this year wasn't everything that it could have been. but that doesn't mean that some good shit didn't happen. We have all grown stronger as people through whatever situations we've gone through this year. And for those of us still here, that's all we can ask for. Just keep going day by day. And hopefully we can all fix this shit one day. Because, man, we fucked it up. Anyways, on a serious note, though, it doesn't matter what's behind you, but what's ahead of you. Now, that does matter. And you've got a brand new year ahead of you, as do I, and all of my family and friends as well. And for all of us still here, I ask that you face that year with confidence and hope. Because God knows that hope's about the only thing humanity has anymore. Even if it's pointless sometimes. Donald Trump. Anyway, on a serious note, everything's not terrible. There's good things that happen all the time, whether you realize it or not. And a lot of those good things are just waiting to find you. But you have to be willing to look for them. So, look for them in this next year. And I can show you one good thing that you can look for in January when I get back from vacation. It's time to announce it. For all of you who didn't listen to social media, but we already talked about that, it's the Case File series by Fear of. I have wanted to do this story for a very long time, and I am very excited to make it. This is the Stitch series, for those of you who don't know by the name. And boy, is it something. It's a murder mystery series involving an investigation around an ancient being. And that's all I'm going to say. If you'd like to go and look it up, go ahead. I encourage you to listen to them all beforehand, because whenever I bring it to the table, you're going to wish that you never knew about it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a vacation to get ready for. But if you'd like one extra dose of horror before the end of the year, kiddies, follow my Twitter. Follow my Twitter because, as I've said before and will say again, I will be going to the Stanley Hotel, which is the haunted hotel that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining. And I will be uploading videos and pictures and stuff if I catch any paranormal activity, or even if I don't, I'm gonna, historical videos of a haunted hotel. And I'll be posting that on my Twitter, so you might want to see that. I won't post it to YouTube, so you won't see it if you don't go to my Twitter. So that'll be doing that, and I'll be doing that on the 28th. So you can always look on the 28th and see what we're doing. And then after that, I'll be leaving you until January. I hope you all had a great Christmas, and I hope you all have a safe and happy New Year. Now, I did say safe, but that doesn't mean you can't get fucked up, because that's okay. Just be careful. Oh, God, I'm a terrible person. Anyways, that's all. This has been the year in review. Now, let's all just bow our heads and hope to God that this presidency doesn't fuck up the rest of the country. Man, it would have been terrible either way. Welcome to America! Okay, I'm done. Bye.